Thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots.
But we have a zip code in Fort Worth that has the lowest life expectancy in the state.
Is it a lower income area?
It is, but it's also in the hospital district.
Oh, wow.
So you would think that those two things wouldn't jive.
That's dark. You can find Fort Worth Roots on all of your favorite streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio. We also have videos associated with these episodes. You can go to YouTube and just look for Fort Worth Roots. You can also get us on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're on there. Just look for Fort Worth Roots. If this is your first time listening to the Fort Worth Roots podcast, don't lose us. Go ahead and whatever platform you're listening to us on, whether it's YouTube or Pandora or whatever, hit the subscribe button. That way, every time we release an episode, you know about it. And thank you. Every time you stream one of these episodes or download it, it makes Fort Worth Roots podcast a lot stronger, and people are able to find us. Our influence, our sphere of influence increases. For example, today's episode is a product of them finding us. We did not reach out to these people. They actually reached out to us, and we were able to get an incredible recording out of this. And that's thanks to people like you who are listening to the Fort Worth Roots podcast. So thank you. February 17th, we're joining Visit Fort Worth in their annual meeting. We were actually invited out to represent the city of Fort Worth. If there are still tickets available, I highly suggest you attend. Again, that's February 17th, Visit Fort Worth annual meeting, and yes, Fort Worth Roots podcast will be there. And then April 7th is our next one coming up. That's going to be at the New Lola's for the Psychedelic Panther Year 2. We were at this last year, and it was incredible. Put on by our friend Joe Guzman. We'll be dropping an episode where we talk to Joe Guzman about Psychedelic Panther here in just a couple of weeks. But that is going to be a really fun event, and I think they are still taking vendors for that event, so check that out. They've got a Facebook page, Psychedelic Panther, easy to find. I also have information on that on the Fort Worth Roots Facebook page. And then the 22nd of April. April is going to be a busy month, y'all. River Oaks Spring Fest Car Show. Last year was amazing. This is out at YMCA Camp Carter. We had over, I think, 300 classic cars out there. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was there. We had food trucks and live music and tons of vendors. It's going to be just as good as last year, but probably a lot better because now it's year 2. And things just get better. There's also a lot more planning going into this year. So mark that on your calendar. I will be out there. Fort Worth Roots Podcast will be there with stickers and shaking babies and kissing hands and all that good stuff. So come check that out. Again, that is the 22nd of April out at YMCA Camp Carter for the River Oaks Spring Fest Car Show. We tell you all about our sponsors at the very end of this episode. Real quick, this podcast is sponsored by the Roofing Solutions by Darren Houk. I said that kind of funny. Roofing Solutions by Darren Houk. You can go to roofingsolutionshouk.com for more information, or you can get them on the phone, 817-882-6520. And just by mentioning that you heard about them on the Fort Worth Roots podcast, you're getting 50% off on a roof tune-up. Again, that's 817-882-6520. If you've been listening to the Fort Worth Roots podcast for any length of time, you know that we try to reach out to local nonprofits, get their message out, help the people that are helping our neighbors. It's just one of the missions, one of the goals here at Fort Worth Roots. Anyway, we didn't reach out to these people. They actually contacted us. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, that's because of listeners like you. Just by streaming these episodes, you're giving us the ability to reach a broader audience. And because of that, United Way of Tarrant County found us and said, you know what, we'd like to connect with these people. So thank you. In this episode, we do learn a lot about the United Way of Tarrant County, but we also learn about a lot of problems that are specific to our friends and neighbors and family here in the Tarrant County area. One of the more alarming things is that there is a specific zip code here in Tarrant County where people's life expectancy is like 14 or 15 years less than everybody else's. We're going to talk about that during this episode and a lot more. To get more information about United Way of Tarrant County, you can go to getunitedtarrant.org, and you can also pick up your phone and dial 211 for assistance through the United Way and other programs and partnerships that they have. All right, that's enough talking out of me. Thank y'all so much for being here. Please give it up for our friend, the president and CEO of United Way of Tarrant County, Leah King. And let's start the show. I figured it was too early for margaritas, so I just did water for now.
After lunch, I don't know.
All right. Wow,
Perfect.
you've got more notes than I do.
Oh my goodness, they over prepare me like I have never done this before.
That's excellent. Is this your first podcast?
It's not.
How many podcasts do you think you've done so far?
I've done more than 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. The very first one I did, it was about a year ago. It was on healthcare.
Okay.
And the lady that was the host, she is a healthcare professional and wanted to know kind of what kind of work we were doing in healthcare.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a lot of questions for you today, too, because I thought I knew what the United Way was. And then I started diving into it. I'm like, well, they do a lot more than I thought.
Yeah. Over the years, the organization evolves, just how our community has evolved and how many new people are here. So we need to stay current with what the needs are and make sure we're responsive to the needs of the community.
And I'm absolutely terrified of messing up people's names. So it's Leah King.
You got it.
Okay, great. That's something I always have to squeeze into the recording because a week from now when I'm editing this, I'll be second guessing myself.
Yeah, understood.
So, good deal. Well, Darian Taylor was nice enough to get us all set up. I don't know how he found the Fort Worth roots, but I'm certainly glad that he did.
Yeah, me too. I was reading about you guys, and I love the audience, and I love kind of the focus, the arts, and so yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, we've tried to keep it kind of centered around people that are creating things for our community.
Yeah.
And United Way is creating a better, safer, and more educated community. So
yeah,
you guys are in the business of creating too.
Absolutely, that's our goal.
Well, let me get through some of Darian's questions here. He sent me an email with some questions. So we'll do those first. How would you describe what you do for the communities you serve?
Well, I'm going to speak in broad terms, and then over the course of our conversation, I'll get a little bit more specific. Perfect. But United Way is here to be a research organization in many ways. We are here to identify what is happening within our communities. We do that by working generally with education facilities that provide research, and what they do is they go out into every zip code within Tarrant County, and they do one-on-one interviews. They do focus groups, they speak with businesses, they speak with nonprofit organizations, they speak with faith sector, and they really try to pinpoint what are the key issues that are happening within the community. From there, they develop a community assessment for us, and that data is what drives everything that we do from there. So we take that data, we inform the rest of the community, government sector included, and then we invite people to get engaged with us in sharing the information. And when we do that invitation, we do that with the hopes that people will invest in the areas that are prominent. So, for example, in our last assessment, we learned that lack of access to healthcare and quality healthcare was a big deal, that lack of access to quality childcare was a big deal. And this was done pre-pandemic,
And this is specific to Tarrant County?
Specific to Tarrant County. Lack of access to transportation so that people can get to work or school or to the doctor was a big deal. And lack of access to healthcare. So it's a big deal. Many of these issues that rise to the top, and understanding what those issues are, it drives all of the work that we do and all of the investments that we make within the community.
Now, how long have you been CEO and president of Tarrant County's United Way?
Sure. I've been CEO for 3 years, so it was my COVID gift. I became CEO.
Now, did you come from a different area before that?
I did. So I've actually been with United Way for 6 years, but I come from the private sector.
Okay.
I spent all of my career working in corporate communications, public relations, public affairs, in several different industries.
But a totally different role. Right?
Completely different. Yeah.
Okay. As you're talking about identifying these issues and then finding the best way to get the community educated and involved, if you saw that there was some kind of difference between Tarrant County as opposed to what you did in your last role, but since they were so separate, you might not have a lot of data to pull from.
Well, I also did community relations, so I was responsible for something that was a little bit similar in terms of investing the corporation's money into the community. So it was incumbent upon me to understand what those issues are and align them with the goals that the company had.
Okay.
So, for example, I worked for an oil and gas company, and their focus areas were emergency responders, environment, and education, as well as economic development. So that gave me broad enough areas to invest the company's resources to come alongside organizations like United Way to help advance the community.
So then do you see something that we need that you didn't see in other areas before?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have a couple of different things that we're not the best in, and we can do much, much better.
Okay.
One of those is infant mortality. We have among the highest infant mortality rate in the state, and we have for many, many years.
In Tarrant County?
Yes, sir.
Now, does that have anything to do with our size?
No.
Okay.
Because Houston's bigger.
It's a per capita thing?
It's a per capita thing.
Wow.
And it gets back to what I was mentioning about that lack of access to health care.
Okay.
So if we were able to provide health insurance for more people, then not just infants, not just babies and moms, because we have a maternal mortality issue as well. Mm-hmm. But we have a zip code in Fort Worth that has the lowest life expectancy in the state.
Is it a lower income area?
It is, but it's also in the hospital district.
Oh, wow.
So you would think that those two things wouldn't jive.
That's dark.
But the good news is that the majority of the issues are preventable. We as a community and as a state and as a country have to decide that we're going to invest in those areas. And so far, we haven't been willing to do that.
Yeah. I'm not surprised to hear that that's the mortality rate. That is surprising, but that we have a healthcare issue, because that's kind of a national problem, isn't it?
It is. Many states have made improvements by expanding Medicaid expansion. We are one of the states that have not taken federal funds to expand Medicaid, and in doing so, that means that we have a lower percentage of people that have access to health care.
Why is Texas not taking advantage of that?
Our leadership has decided that that's not something that they want to do, and we continue to advocate that we would actually save our state money. It's proven. We would save our state millions and millions of dollars by actually covering people before they have an emergency and have more preventative care.
Preventative, yeah.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it's natural. We know if you have sniffles and you get to the doctor quickly, you might be able to get some cough syrup. And if you say, oh, you blow it off, I got to go to work, and you don't take care of it, it might be pneumonia, and you might be in the hospital, right? And you don't have a way to pay for the hospital bill, nor do you get paid for the time off of work. Right. So we need to be a little smarter about how we invest in those things. You know, we work with a number of organizations to try to help advocate for that, but it's tough.
What's the saying? A teaspoon of prevention is worth a gallon of cure.
You got it. Yeah. You got it. You know, it's a no-brainer in my mind, but I'm not elected to those roles. So
what are the main goals for United Way in 2023?
Well, there are a number of things. This is our centennial celebration year, and we are so thrilled to actually have weathered so many storms over the past century. If you think about what that means, I mean, when the organization started, it was wartime, and so there were distributions of flour, war bonds, and those things. And if you fast forward to today, it's not all that different. There are many things that are better. But we know that we have a population of people that are struggling. Mm-hmm. They're working very hard, but they're still struggling. And so our priorities have to be around community health, around financial empowerment, and making sure that we provide resources for people to help themselves. We want to be there to be responsive to community emergencies like the winter storm and flooding that happens occasionally in our area. And so those are things that we're focusing on for not just now, but in the future. The neat thing about us is that we are governed locally. Mm-hmm. So that means that even though we're part of this national organization, they don't tell us what to do.
Oh, that's great.
And because they know we know best.
Yeah.
We live here.
Inside your community.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they provide us different types of support, but we raise money locally and we invest it locally. And but yet we still have the benefits of being part of a larger organization. Right. And so that's the benefit for us in our community. What we look forward to, just for on the sake of our employees, is to provide them opportunities for professional development, but also to provide them opportunities for kind of mental health moments and resources that help them to step away from some of the difficult things that they deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
And so we provide them the Calm app, and we bring in coaches that help walk them through mindfulness and things like that, so that we can all be a little bit more chill, because our work can be stressful. And then from the community's perspective, we are entering into a couple of new areas based on what's happening in our community. Youth gun violence is a major, major issue. And so we'll be working closely with the City of Fort Worth, Tarrant County, and the police department to help address a growing issue that is really plaguing communities around the country, and unfortunately we're caught up in that. And then also a focus on maternal health and making sure that we can do our part to help make sure mom is safe, that she has a safe pregnancy, and that she's able to deliver a healthy baby, and that she has that postpartum care to ensure that both mom and baby have the ability to thrive long term. So those are a couple of new things that we're working on.
Now, you mentioned youth gun violence just now. Is that a specific problem for Tarrant County? Is that something we're seeing a lot of?
Yeah, across the country we're seeing it. And what fascinated me is that for years and years and years, car accidents were the number one ways that young people were killed.
Sure, that feels like it makes sense.
Yeah, but now it's guns.
Wow.
And gun violence. And so we need to make sure that we're providing other opportunities for young people and getting to them earlier, before their teenage years, to make sure that they understand that life is so critical and important and valuable, but give them tools and resources that help them make different decisions than what they might make as a teenager if they don't have those interventions. And so working with organizations that provide support and resources, maybe they have an interest in sports, maybe they have an interest in music, maybe they have an interest in debate, or whatever the case may be, but oftentimes they don't have the money to pay for a uniform or a ticket to get to a location. Well, we need to be there to provide that for them, because if we're not giving them things to take up their time constructively, we've all been teenagers before, and we know that we can get sidetracked easily.
Got all that energy, and it's going to go somewhere.
It's going somewhere. So we want to be sure that we give them some constructive ways that help to build them up and make them into productive adults and citizens.
Excellent. Do you have an example of maybe an organization that y'all are partnering with to help accomplish that goal?
Yeah, well, we haven't kicked it off yet, but there is an organization that I will lift up, and it's called VIP Fort Worth, and that's Violence Intervention and Prevention, and they do just that. They help to engage young people and give them some alternatives, and these are people that run the program that know what it's like to be there. I'll call them near peers, so the young people look up to them, they know them from the neighborhoods, and they trust them, and that trust is what's essential, and it helps to ensure that they'll listen and that they'll take to heart what they're being told, because you don't want to catch them. And one thing to point out, the initiative is called the 1 Second Collaborative, and the point is that a 1 second decision can really change your life.
For sure.
And it can change it for the better or for the worse. And so if we can help that decision-making process and get people to really be thinking long-term, and not just in the moment when somebody bumps into them, or somebody shows up with the wrong color,
or a bad idea.
The bad idea. Well, I mean, something which seems simple but can sometimes escalate into violence.
I queued up this video here, and I tied in the audio to the Roadcaster, and I've got the video up.
Since the very beginning, Tarrant County has been home to the strong-willed and kind-hearted. To those who are always willing to roll up their sleeves. Today, we are more than 2 million strong. That's 2 million leaders, 2 million dreamers, 2 million people who know how to make it happen. Imagine what we could do if we all joined hands. If we were 64 zip codes with one heartbeat that gives everyone a voice, that honors our heroes and inspires new ones, that supports a bold vision and fuels their dreams, that cares for those who cared for us. Thanks to you, United Way has brought people together to solve our community's toughest problems for more than 100 years. And with your help, we will ensure your neighborhoods, your community, and all of Tarrant County grows stronger together. When we get united, there's nothing we can't do.
I love that you showed that.
That is an incredible video. Like, whoever did that did a great job.
They did such a, and it also let me know where the 2 million comes from. That's our population for Tarrant County.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the area that we have responsibility for.
Okay.
Is for 2 million people and growing.
Yeah, I would have thought, maybe a couple months ago before I looked up the numbers that Tarrant County was much larger than that in terms of population, but Fort Worth is under 1 million.
Yeah,
so
they're approaching 1 million in Fort Worth.
When I think of Tarrant County, I think of Fort Worth, but there's a lot more. There's a whole nother 1.25 million people around Fort Worth that also are your responsibility, I guess.
That's right. So we work closely with the City of Arlington as an example. Mm-hmm. We run our military and veterans programming out of that office, as well as some work we do directly for the City of Arlington. We work closely with North Richland Hills, Hearst, Euless, and Bedford, all of the communities, and so we're very blessed to be able to serve alongside the community leaders.
Yeah. What do y'all do specifically for the military?
So I love this because I'm an Army brat, and
same. Well, I'm Army vet.
Okay,
not a brat.
So I'm a brat. My dad was Army, and we grew up I grew up overseas.
Where
at? West Germany.
Okay.
And so I went to first and almost every other year. We moved a lot, as do most military families. I was actually born in LA, and then I went to first grade at the embassy in Bonn. I went to second grade in Wiesbaden, and so a lot of that makes this work near and dear to us. So specifically for military, this is active duty veterans and their families.
Okay.
Right. So we work with a broad population there. And we are part of a statewide network that's called Texas Veterans Network. And we have responsibility for having intake specialists. So you can call that number for literally anything. You don't have to be having a bad day. You can be having a great day and saying, I want to play on a softball team that's only made up of military veterans.
Okay.
And our team is responsible for finding that. But if you are having some troubles, let's say you're near to being evicted and you call us, our folks will get some information from you, and they'll drill down, because generally when people call for one thing, there's a couple things happening.
Right.
So we want to find out all of it. And then we have already vetted organizations that are veteran service providers, and we know exactly who has resources, who can provide that support, and we make a warm handoff to those organizations.
Okay.
Our system allows us then to monitor, so we can see if the person who called in is complying, if you will, and following through, but we can see if the organization is complying with what they committed to do to help provide support.
That's great.
Which helps us to know that we're actually getting results that ultimately the person who called in for support needs. Did they get the help that they need? And so there's pre and post surveys to ensure that that's happening. But we want to be the place that helps to coordinate. So we identify what's happening. We work to engage that military family, and then we want to provide the support that they need.
And that's great that you're watching it all the way through, because then okay, we've got this organization and we're helping out this person that meets maybe this demographic or financial status or whatever. And did that all work? Were we effective? And if not, then you can kind of pivot and either use a different organization, maybe that facilitates that need better, or
maybe it's us, and we need to understand what can we do differently or better.
Yeah. I saw the 211 number on your website. Is that the number you were telling people they could call?
Yes. So there are a couple of numbers, but 211 is the easiest because it's available anywhere in the state, and it's available in most places in the country.
Okay.
So it's the easiest thing to remember. You can call 211, and if you are, they will ask you if you are military or veteran, and if you are, they will connect you directly with our network, and that way you don't have to. The worst thing is, like, you need help and then you get, call here, call here, oh my goodness, right?
So they're getting transferred directly.
That'll drive anybody
That's
out
awesome.
of their mind. We don't want to do that. We want to avoid that.
But not just for veterans, right?
That's right. 211 is for anyone, and they're open 24/7, 365, and they also have 120 different languages.
Oh, wow.
That are available. So
is there more than 120?
I don't know. I should know that.
That's a lot.
But if there are, they don't have it.
Yeah.
But that is, they're really able to support nearly anyone that calls in with any kind of different type of language that they would call in other than English.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is.
So is that pound 211 or is it just 211?
Just 211.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another surprising thing I saw on your website was tax prep. It looks like you are helping people with their taxes.
Let me tell you something. So this is one of the programs that gets me the most excited because it has just a great return on investment. So picture this. Your household, your annual income is $60,000 or less. Great. You qualify for free tax prep. You can go to one of our dozen facilities around the county and get your taxes prepared for free by volunteers who are IRS certified, and we do it electronically. The reason I get so excited about that is because the average tax return is between $1,500 and $2,500. That's a big chunk of money to come back at one time into a family's home. What we try to do is prepare them for that. So it's like, gotta have a plan.
Right.
Pay down some debt.
Yeah.
Put some away for emergency fund.
Don't spend it all on the new PlayStation. Right?
And don't, but have some fun, right? So fun, debt, emergency.
Yeah.
And then from there, we know that when that money is spent here, that there's sales tax revenue. So there's a benefit to local municipalities
and businesses.
Who I want them to invest more because we're only touching 8% of the eligible households.
Oh, wow.
Now think about it. If we did 10,000, and we have approached this 10,000 tax returns in one season, that brings back to our county about $15-16 million. We've been doing this for 10 years. So we brought back over $100 million.
Wow.
We're touching 8%.
Yeah.
Let's touch 20%. Let's touch 30%. Get that money back from DC.
Yeah.
Invest it in our county. And so the only reason we don't do more is because it's capacity. We don't have the financial resources to be able to do that, which is part of this centennial campaign, which, our goal is raising $100 million. And part of that money will help to ensure that we can expand that program because we want to be able to extend it so that in addition to providing tax prep, we are providing access to job skills training. So if you are in a job that you say you're making $40,000 a year, but you want to earn more, maybe you need to hone up your skills. So we can connect you with organizations that will help give you additional skills. And then we also want to be sure that you have not just that plan for when the tax return comes, but long-term financial planning, and connect you with an organization that is a great partner of ours that helps to provide budgeting classes, financial coaching, and those types of things. So it's one thing to prepare the taxes, but it needs to go beyond that because you need to graduate out of eligibility.
Yeah.
Right? We know there's always going to be
that
households
60,000
like
bracket.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's the goal.
Well, that's incredible. And I see why you're excited about it because like you said, it's going to help the person filing their taxes with you. They get it done for free. It's going to help out the community through several different avenues.
That's right.
The taxes go to the city, the businesses where that money gets spent, helps them out. It's just a huge influx of cash that comes back into our community.
And it's Tarrant County residents' money.
Yeah.
We don't need to leave it in Washington.
Right.
We need to get it back.
It's already ours.
That's right.
Let's go get it.
And we don't want people paying for free tax prep, right? Where you get reeled in and they say, oh, it's free. But then, oh, you want your money fast? Yeah. Great. I'm going to take 5% of it, 10% of it, 20% of it. It went from being free to hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
And we've calculated that over the years, we've probably saved people about $20 million in tax prep fees.
Just here
in Tarrant County.
That's wild.
Yeah.
The other thing I saw and wanted to talk about was Braver Together.
Yeah.
What is that?
Braver Together really was born out of this research study that showed that 76104 had the lowest life expectancy. And when we had the same reaction.
Oh my God.
You can't be serious.
For the national average?
So for the state.
Okay. Still terrible.
But 12 years.
Yeah.
By 12 years.
Wow.
Right.
Damn.
And it's in the hospital district. So we wanted to understand more and unpack that a little bit and know why that was the case. And as we began to dig deeper, the team that works on Braver Together day to day really began to understand that it's underinvestment in education, underinvestment in small businesses and workforce development, underinvestment in access to health care, poor housing, lack of transportation, go on and on and on. Again, all things that are addressable and preventable, but there is also a big lack of trust in large institutions. And so we want to bridge that gap, that trust gap, because that will help to close the gap on life expectancy, but also deliver resources to the community. So for the past about year and a half, the Braver Together team has been working directly with community ambassadors in each of those areas to guide and direct investments so that other businesses and smaller nonprofits are getting direct investments so that they can grow capacity, serve more people, to improve the healthcare outcomes and educational outcomes there.
Everything that you've just listed, we've been talking for 27 minutes and you've just broken my brain. That is so much work for one entity. And of course, you're networking with other agencies that are partnering with you to help you complete your mission.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a just monumental task. What can people do? What do you need from people in our community to help United Way?
I appreciate that question, and let me tell you, the obvious answer is, we need money. Of course we do. The goal again is $100 million, and that will take us a couple of years to raise that money.
Yeah.
But all of the things I just listed will be where those funds are invested. So people should understand that, we're not just trying to raise money for the sake of it. There are real problems that we need to address.
Yeah.
The other way that they can help, that volunteer income tax program is probably the biggest example. It's volunteer because it's driven by volunteers. So we need people that you don't have to have any kind of math skills, financial background. We provide all the training. Everything's done online. And we need people to help us during tax season to help us prepare as many taxes as we can so that we can get that money back into Tarrant County.
Yeah.
Those are the two most important ways. If people want to learn more, I would urge them to go to our website, getunited.org, and they can learn a little bit more about each of the things that we've talked about today, and also about how to get engaged and how to get involved in some of the work that we're doing. We'd love to have them working alongside us.
Excellent. No, this might be a completely trivial question,
Sure.
but the website you just gave and UnitedWayTarrant.org, are they the same? They connect the same way?
GetUnitedTarrant.org will get you to UnitedWayTarrant.org.
Okay.
GetUnitedTarrant.org has a little bit more concise information and information specifically about the Centennial. And then if people have additional questions about some of the programs, there are links from Get United Tarrant. I said Get United Tarrant. Now I'm getting them mixed up. That is right. GetUnitedTarrant.org is the right.
And that's the one I need to put in the show notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Perfect. Okay, great. We've covered all the questions, and now I have to ask you a few questions about our community.
Yes.
What's your favorite restaurant here in Fort Worth?
Oh, it changes so much right now.
I feel like it's an unfair question.
Yeah, because it's like, where have I
We
gone
got the
lately?
good food here.
Oh, my goodness. I love Don Artemio.
Where is that?
Oh, my goodness. Have you been?
Oh, is that the Mediterranean place?
No. This is on 7th Street.
Okay.
And it is not far from Eddie V's. So if you know where that split is.
Yeah.
So it's about 2 blocks away from Eddie V's. Wonderful Mexican, high-end kind of high-end area because it's in the cultural district.
Yeah.
But, it's not going to break the bank. The food is outstanding.
Is it right there by all that construction?
It is.
Yeah.
Which can be a pain and tricky to get to. But the
it's
food
worth
is
it.
that good
It's worth it.
that you want to do it. That's one of my favorites. I will say...
I'll have to check that out because I'm big on Mexican food.
Oh,
for sure.
You will love this. And get the... so they have a cactus dish as an appetizer.
I've never had cactus, I don't believe.
You will always have it when you go there. I can promise you. It is outstanding and so, so fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you ever catch any live music around town?
I do. So I live not far from Ray Street. So of course there's a ton of live music there. Yeah. So there, and then occasionally down to Scat. Haven't been there in a bit though. So
the jazz lounge.
Yeah.
And on Ray Street, are you talking about the Post?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you caught our friend Avery Burke yet?
Yes.
Oh man, we love Avery. We've had her on the show.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we just moved into the neighborhood about a year and a half ago, and so we've been kind of venturing out and finding what all the spots are. So absolutely love it.
Ray Street's really cool. I think whenever they decided to develop that area, they kind of jumped the gun by about 5 years. So it's gone through a bunch of like changeovers.
Yes.
So there's always something brand new and interesting.
Yeah,
right
it keeps you
on Main
hot.
Street.
And you know what they do? They do a good job of having kind of street festivals where they'll block up, and then it gives you a chance to see what's going on in the permanent stores, but also support some of the vendors that show up there for the festival. So I agree with you. It's ever evolving, but it keeps, it's like, oh, well, let's go see what's there now. you know?
Yeah. Well, if you like festivals, follow us on Fort Worth on Facebook, Fort Worth Roots.
Yes.
Because we've got the River Oak Spring Fest car show coming up, and there's going to be vendors for that.
Oh, very good.
And then if you like, and there will be live music out at that. But if you like live music and you want to see like artistic vendors, there's one called Psychedelic Panther, and that's going to be at Lola's. Have you been to the new Lola's?
Yes. Okay. So I have to do that. My husband's an artist, and so we're very Psychedelic
Panther.
And
Got
there's
it. Still time if he wants a booth.
Perfect. Oh my
Talk
gosh.
to Joe Guzman.
I love it.
Yeah.
Come here to learn.
All the connections. That's
Love
what
it.
we're all about. And then that segues into, I think, the last question that Darren had sent me. What does United Way do in Tarrant County for the creative community?
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, for forever, nothing.
Yeah.
But during COVID, so we work very closely with any organization that's willing to work with us. And during COVID, of course, a lot of the live venues were closed. The ability for artists to earn a living wasn't there, and they didn't qualify for unemployment insurance oftentimes. So we hooked up with Visit Fort Worth, and we put on this amazing concert that was kind of sponsored by Billy Bob's, and it was online, and it was primarily music. And we had a ton of artists that were there, and we sold, I think there were some t-shirts and things like that, but we sold tickets for people to be able to listen to the music. And that allowed us to raise money that then gave us the ability to give cash directly to the artists who were unable to earn a living. And so I loved that partnership, that connection, and it helps us to say, listen, I don't care who you are, where you're from. We're going to help you if you need help.
It was great to see because there were so many. Fort Worth has a huge community of artists, entertainers, musicians that rely on these bars, restaurants, and venues to be available so that they can continue doing one of the things that makes Fort Worth so special.
Yeah. That relief fund was essential. I mean, it was a lifeline for so many who, it's like, how am I going to pay my rent or my utility bills or whatever the case may be? And so it was filmmakers and musicians and artists that, found themselves just shut down, and not having an outlet for their creativity was bad enough, but then not having the financial resources.
How are they going to eat?
That's right. Yeah. Literally, like, I got to feed my family. Yeah. So, that was important. And we were able to raise a good amount of money in that fund to distribute back out. And we worked directly with Visit Fort Worth. They had the list of all the artists who were already signed up with them. And then they got that money distributed. And our finance team just did direct deposits directly into their bank accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, were you just blown away by the support you saw from business owners and the restaurants and the venues that went pouring into that fund?
It was amazing. And I don't know why I continue to be impressed by this community, but I think it was because it was the creative community that oftentimes we all rely on for entertainment, but you don't think about in times of hurt. You think about, single mom, well, I might be a single mom or a single dad and an artist.
Yeah. Right.
And so we wanted to bring a face, and our community stepped up in so many ways by volunteering. We had food that was distributed, 145,000 meals we distributed.
Wow.
If this was already cooked, prepared family-style meals that were prepared. And that was across a number of communities. But, just, again, to show for us, we're just 75 people on our team.
Here in Tarrant.
Yeah, we're just 75 of us. And at that time, probably 70. But we're large enough that we can handle big things, and we're small enough that we can be nimble, and we can shift,
mobilize
as
quickly.
needed. That's right. That's right.
Some of your old military roots
You got
popping
it.
up there. You mentioned Visit Fort Worth. There's a big Visit Fort Worth event on the 17th of February. Are y'all going to be at that?
I don't know which one it is.
Is
it their?
I don't know who all's going to be there. But
is it their breakfast?
It starts at like 7 a.m.
Yes, that's their breakfast. Yeah, we're always there. We won't be presenting, but we're always there.
Okay, cool. Well, you'll see me there.
Oh, good.
We'll be there.
Oh, I'll look for you. Yeah. Please look for us, because I
Absolutely.
want to make sure that you get to meet others on our team.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll be recording. I'll be at the booth with the JJTM podcast.
Okay.
And so I just yesterday got permission to talk about this. So,
Excellent.
But yeah, we'll be there and we'll be doing recordings. And I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think what we're going to do is all the podcasters that are going to be there are going to be pulling people aside, asking them questions, and I'll probably have my own set of questions, and they'll have their set of questions.
Yeah.
And just a really cool way to connect the community.
That's great.
So
I'll definitely look for you.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yes, we will be there, and I will find you.
Very cool.
I will find you.
Very cool. Well, you got your own notes. Did we cover everything? What else you got?
Let's see what they wanted me to say that I didn't say. One thing that I do want to tell you that is probably in here somewhere too. So when we did our kickoff for our centennial, we had this amazing. We have a mural, and so what we did, it's so cool. We covered the mural in all the zip codes in Tarrant County.
Okay.
And
where's this mural?
So it's moving right now.
Oh.
It was for about a month at Globe Life Field.
Okay.
And so, and that's where we did the kickoff. So during the kickoff, we invited all the audience to go to the mural. It's about 30 feet long, and take off one of the zip codes. On the back of the zip code had some kind of fact about Tarrant County. I'll give you an example. One of them might say something like 21% of adults are uninsured, and too many people report being in poor physical health. One of them might say housing isn't affordable for 100,000 of our families, and on and on and on. So as the zip codes were removed, the mural was unveiled, and it was just a powerful way to connect people to what's actually happening in Tarrant County, but also it was an inspirational mural that really showed people linking up and getting united.
That's
And
cool.
so that is something that's really different and unique. And so our vision is for it to move around the county in different areas that are highly trafficked and accessible to the public, and which is why Globe Life Field was so perfect.
Sure.
And so we'll be looking at other areas around the county to be able to move it to.
So does it have a home right now?
I think it's being cleaned up, and I'm not sure. This is a Darren question, where it goes next. I know we'll eventually be in Sundance. We may very well be at Clear Fork, hopefully South Lake Town's Square, places like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's good.
We'll have to share pictures of it whenever we see it next.
And I bet you they've got some good pictures from when it was at Globe Life,
Okay.
and then wherever it moves to next, we'll make sure that you get some of those
Very
too.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Darren's got my email,
Good.
and he's
Good,
listening
good.
to this right now.
Oh, okay. Then he'll tell me if I did well or not.
Oh, he knows you did. You did great. You did great. You know you did great,
You
right?
made it easy. Oh my goodness! I mean, it's just like having a conversation with a friend. I just love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it.
We talk about this quite a bit on the show, but it's like the first 15 minutes of the show, it's like, you kind of getting all the pre-rehearsed stuff out of the way, and then you kind of start loosening up
Then
a
you
little
can
bit.
get into the real nitty-gritty.
And I got to be careful because I can get carried away. We've had episodes go for 4 hours before. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's like one conversation leads into a next, so
For sure.
it's hard not
For
to
sure.
have that happen.
Yeah. Well, Leah, you are always welcome on the Fort Worth Roots podcast.
Thank you.
And if we can ever help y'all get the word out about something, share a post, just tag Fort Worth Roots. We're on
Perfect.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So tag us and we'll share it.
Love it. We
Okay.
absolutely will. You can count
All
on
right,
that.
and you got to help me remember to take a picture before you leave.
Oh, yes,
Sometimes
let's
I'm
do
really
it.
bad about that. Okay. Is there anything
Perfect.
else?
No. I
Okay.
think we
And
covered it.
it's Get United.
Get United Tarrant.
Tarrant.org. Okay.
You
and
got
that
it.
will be in the show notes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots. Leah, thank you again. And we'll see everybody next week. Bye. A huge thank you to our friend Leah King, President and CEO of the United Way of Tarrant County. Thank you for being on the show. This was an excellent interview. I was telling somebody after I got done with it that I sat down with Leah, and we're talking, and about 5 minutes into this, I started getting kind of nervous. I'm like, ooh, I'm sitting with a professional. Like, you could tell just by the way she talked, the way she answered these questions, the way she presented herself, that she's a professional, and she's done this before. So anyway, it was a very easy episode to edit. It was a lot of fun doing the recording, and I'm looking forward to having Leah back on the show to talk about the United Way or favorite lunch/dinner spots here in Fort Worth, or great music venues in Tarrant County, or whatever. So y'all make sure you go to getunitedtarrant.org. Again, that little phone number we were talking about is 211. And lots of ways that you can support these people, and there's a lot of ways that they can support you if you're in need. So make sure you check that out. Again, that's getunitedtarrant.org, and the little phone number was 211. All this will be in the show notes. One more time, Leah, thank you so much for being on the show. Let us know, Fort Worth Roots, how we can help. We'll tag us and stuff. We'll share it, or get back on the show. We miss you already. All right, events. Usually I just do the events at the back end of the episode, but today I was like, I want people to know up front. So you've already heard this once, but I'll revisit it. February 15th, Love is War. It's a thing that Fort Worth Forever is putting on. This is an organization that I think their main objective is to just kind of highlight 7th Street and what's going on down there and trying to keep that thing going. I know some people out there that work with Fort Worth Forever. Really good people, put on some really awesome parties down there. And I guess this is like a Valentine's Day thing out at El Chingon, happening at 9 p.m. I still have not gone into that place. This might be a good opportunity to go check it out. February 15th at 9 p.m. Big deal. They asked Fort Worth Roots to throw in a thing, which we have kind of done. I need to get this stuff over to Robin at Corks and Cowtown. She's facilitating this, but we're going to be giving away one of our last remaining tumbler that we had left over from the September, what was it? You know better than I do by now. Our Pouring Glory event that we did. We had a bunch of these cool laser engraved tumblers by one of our sponsors. Anyway, last one. Let's go into this party. Love is War. Fort Worth Forever's putting it on February 15th, 9 p.m. at El Chingon. Chingon? I can't say that word. Okay, it's February 17th. Visit Fort Worth's annual meeting. Fort Worth Roots will be there, sponsored by what? No, I'll be representing the city. That's what I meant to say. Me and some other awesome podcasters that have been brought out to be part of this event. So that's going to be really cool. I think we'll be sharing a table or an area, a space with the Jerry Jonestown Massacre podcast. Those guys are cool. Looking forward to hanging with them. Psychedelic Panther is going to be April 7th out at Lola's. That's the new one on Berry Street. Lots of cool space out there. Very attractive new space that they've put together at the new Lola's. Like it a lot. Highly recommend. Psychedelic Panther is a music festival. There's going to be vendors out there, psychedelia-geared music, very cool stuff. Lots of very talented artists out there. More information on Facebook. You can get the Psychedelic Panther page, which is going to give you the most information. And then also Fort Worth Roots will be doing everything we can to keep you apprised of any upcoming details. But again, that is April 7th at the new Lola's. And then the big one, River Oaks Spring Fest Car Show, 22nd April. That's going to be out at YMCA Camp Carter. We did this last year. It was a great turnout. Just in the number of people that were there for the event, I mean, like putting the thing on, we had 300 classic cars. I think there were maybe close to 80 vendors out there. That might be too many, but close to it. There were 2 or 3 food trucks out there. They had live music. They did awards for the cars that were involved with the car show. It was good. Lots of good stuff. That's a one-day event. Psychedelic Panther is like a 2-day event. So anyway, lots of fun. April's going to be busy. Prepare yourself. What else do I got? Sponsors. We got to talk about the sponsors. You already know about Roofing Solutions by Darren Houk. These are our friends and sponsors of the show. Been taking very good care of the Fort Worth Roots podcast. Shout out Darren. Thank you, my friend. Roofing Solutions by Darren Houk. Why? There are, I think, last estimate, over 4,000 registered roofers here in the Fort Worth area. Maybe that's DFW. That sounds more right. Why this one? Because they're local. That's the big reason. But outside of that, Darren's father did it. Now he does it. And the one thing that Darren and his father have in common is that they are both highly respected by the community. Darren's father did a great job taking care of our community by managing the roofs for him for a very long time. And now Darren does it. And you don't need to take my word for it. I'd be offended if you did. Go online, do your own research, and find out why whenever it comes to repairing your most valuable asset, your home, you need to go with a trusted roofer like Darren Houk. Do your own research. Or if you trust me, just give him a call. 817-882-6520. Will not be disappointed. That's why he's a sponsor, is because his ratings are so high. And those are the kind of people we want sponsoring the show. I'm not going to steer you wrong. If I find out that somebody is less than reputable, you won't hear me talking about them on this show. So, anyway, check them out. Roofing Solutions by Darren Houk, roofingsolutionshouk.com, or 817-882-6520. Woodpost Metalworks, woodpostmetalworks.com. You can go there, make your purchase, and use podcast817 at checkout. That code is podcast817 for 10% off. 10% off. That's excellent. Good stuff there. Woodpost Metalworks does plasma cutting and light steel fabrication. Really cool stuff. Check it out. Houk Walker Originals. I was just talking about the laser engraved cups that I'm going to be taking out to El Chingon, that place. And I'm trying to find my notes real quick, but I've already flipped pages. There it is. February 15th, Love is War, 9 p.m. at El Chingon. Anyway, we're taking one of these cups, these beautiful laser engraved cups, and we're going to give this to the people at Forever Fort Worth, and they're going to raffle it off or something. I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, it will be there, and somebody is going to walk away with it. And that was a product from Houk Walker Originals. These folks have been taking care of me nonstop. In fact, for the February 17th event, Visit Fort Worth, they needed a vector file for my logo. And I think that whenever I made the logo, I had a vector file, but I have lost it. Not like kind of lost it, like I looked for this thing for weeks and couldn't find it, lost it. Went through external hard drives and old emails, and anyway, I can't find it. But Angela over at Houk Walker Originals took that thing, and she's like, no problem, I got you. It was such a complicated format that whenever she sent it back to me, I couldn't even open it. But I sent it over to the folks at Visit Fort Worth, and they're like, perfect, this is exactly what we needed. So, first of all, thank you, Angela. And secondly, if you need something made custom, if you just need something laser engraved, or if you want custom woodworking for gift ideas or whatever, these people not only have the stuff, they've got the brains too. They know what they're doing. So give them a check them out, give them a look. Houk Walker Originals can be found at houkwalker.com, and they will be happy to take care of you. Another great thing about sponsors here in Fort Worth, we're going to keep it local. So when you spend stuff on these vendors or on these businesses, whether it's a service or a product, you're keeping Fort Worth dollars in Fort Worth pockets. We're going to try to keep that trend going for sure. Okay? All right. That's all the sponsors. That's all the events. That's all the sponsors. You know to go to getunitedtarrant.org. They are looking for volunteers. You want to help our community? This is a great way to do it. Getunitedtarrant.org is where you can go to look at what you can do to get involved. Or if you're one of the people that needs help, they're here to help you. Lots of good resources there. So check that out. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. If you don't donate to United Way of Tarrant County, find a local charity. Find somebody that is improving things here in our community. That's it. I've said too much. I have to go now. Oh, side note. So usually in a panic on the weekends is whenever I put these episodes together. I am here stranded at the studio. Let's see. What time is it? It is Wednesday. The year of our Lord, Snowmageddon 2023. The time on my watch here says 12:40. So that's what I was doing. I don't know when I'm going to release this one because typically these episodes go out late Sunday night and then I advertise for them on Mondays. But I might I might release this one early and then just not promote it until Monday. But we all need something to do, right? We're all snowed in. Send emails. Tell me stories. Or share videos about your Snowmageddon on the Fort Worth Roots Facebook page. But we will get through this. Hopefully by the time I air this, we've already gotten through it. It's going to be crazy. We're frozen in for 4 days straight, and then the sun comes up and just melts it all away instantly. So anyway, that's Texas. Okay, hope you had a wonderful snowed in, iced in, whatever week. Hopefully this week that you're listening to this is much nicer and sunny outside. All right, seriously. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.